what is -3 plus -5? And more importantly, why? In this video, we're going through addition and subtraction with negative numbers and understanding why they work. Before anything else, what even is a negative number? It's not just a number with a minus sign. It's a direction, called a vector in physics. Positive means right, negative means left, adding means moving along, and subtracting means moving opposite of. So now that we know all these four, it seems pretty simple. So let's try to solve this problem. Let's use this number line to help us. So first we start at -3 and move 5 steps left. Because we're adding a negative, we move along to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we end at -8. So the answer to this is -8. So you can see here that if we have the same sign, we can add the numbers and keep the sign. And that's because in addition, we're going to be moving along with whatever number it is. Now let's try solving a problem where we have two different signs. So you can think of this as if the signs are pulling in opposite direction and the bigger one wins. We can see that here. So we start at -3 here and move 7 steps right. We move along to the right. Addition means along and positive means to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we end at 4. So -3 plus 7 is 4. 7 is bigger here and positive, so the answer is +4. Here's the question that you can try solving on your own. -6 plus 2. This is also included in the description as an interactive quiz which you can see by scrolling down on your desktop. Now, let's move on to subtraction. Subtracting a negative, like in this case, is the opposite of subtracting, which is adding. Remember, subtracting means moving opposite of, and negative means to the left. So we're moving opposite of left or right, which is adding. So we can rewrite this as 5 plus 3, which we know the answer to is 8. But just to make sure, let's try this on our number line. So we start at 5 and we move opposite of 3 to the left, which is 3 to the right. So we go 1, 2, 3, we end at 8, and that makes sense. Here's the general rule that we can write for this. Subtract a negative, that's the same as adding. So subtracting -x is the same thing as adding x. Here's a question on this to solidify this. -4 minus -7. It's also in the description box, so leave your answers there. Now, you might have noticed that I went over how to subtract negative from positive, but not the other way around. But if you look carefully, I actually did. So let's try solving this problem first to see how we do it. Let's try solving this problem. -8 minus 3. -3 can be rewritten as adding -3 because that's what it means. -3 means move opposite to 3 right, which is 3 left, and plus -3 means move along to 3 left. At the end, it means the same thing. So we can say that -x equals adding -x. So we can break this down into -8 plus -3, so which is -11. And we know that this is -11 because when two of the same signs add together, we just add them and leave the sign as it is. Taking this idea, we can break down different numbers so that we just have addition happening, which is particularly useful in algebra, which we will go over later. So, as an example, I have 3 minus 5 plus 8 minus 9 here. Typically, we would solve this left to right, going from subtraction to addition and subtraction again. Well, but with this new idea, we can rewrite it as 3 plus -5 plus 8 plus -9. and solve it in any order we want. Now, this doesn't seem too revolutionary right now, but this makes combining like terms and doing algebra much easier, which is not our focus now, but we'll cover it in another video. And you might have noticed that this implies that subtraction is actually just addition. This is actually something that we'll cover in another video too, so stay tuned for that. But let's come back to the topic on hand today. So, the two rules that are very important for you to know is subtracting a negative number is actually the same as adding that number, and subtracting any number is the same as adding a negative number. These two rules also work vice versa, such that adding x is the same thing as subtracting negative x, and adding negative x is the same thing as subtracting x. And here's a very complicated question which you can try on your own. That will combine everything we learned in today's video and leave your answers in the comments below. Remember, every rule in this video comes down to one idea. Negative means the opposite direction. So here is the really hard question. We have negative 4 minus 3 minus 5 plus 7 plus negative 2 minus negative 2 plus negative 4. So leave your answers in the comments. And in the next video, we're going to go over multiplying and dividing negative numbers. And we'll prove why the rules work, not just what they are. See you there.